Did anyone expect some trade news today? Because I didn't. And just when we're all thinking the NFL offseason was at its quiet stage, we get this piece of trade news on a random Monday afternoon, which, for me personally, I want to talk about. So the first piece of news we got was that the Pittsburgh Steelers had traded for Dolphins cornerback Jalen Ramsey. And then we got the news that Minka Fitzpatrick, who won't play for the Dolphins, was going back there from the Steelers as part of the trade. And I thought that was it. I thought it was a simple trade between two defensive backs swapping teams. And then we get the news that the Steelers are trading for Dolphins tight end Jonnu Smith. I think the Dolphins got a late round pick as part of the trade as well, but this is something I was not expecting. We all knew the Jonnu Smith rumours, the Jalen Ramsey rumours. We all thought that Ramsey would be leaving the Dolphins. I did a piece on it earlier this offseason, but Jonnu Smith, I think we all thought as Dolphins fans, maybe he would stay, but clearly not. Clearly he wanted to go somewhere else, and he's gone to the Steelers. In terms of my reaction to the trade, I was more happy initially when it was just what I thought was a simple trade between two defensive backs. When I thought it was just us getting Fitzpatrick, them getting Ramsey, I thought, great, we're getting rid of a cornerback who is past it, who isn't the cornerback he once was, had a good couple of years, but not getting any younger. And then we were getting Fitzpatrick, who we did draft back in 2018, did leave after a year, but he's younger, he's 28. And I thought instantly, we've got a guy there in our secondary who can cause some problems. Of course, we lost Jevon Holland this offseason. And then the news came out about Jonnu Smith. And this one for me was the part of the trade I didn't like, because he was a guy who was a really bright spark in our offense, particularly the second half of the season when Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle were struggling at points. He had a good time there. He got a fair amount of yards, got a few touchdowns. So it's a shame because we've not really had, we had Mike Gesicki, but he wasn't used correctly. And I thought Jonnu Smith was finally the guy that was going to help our offense and not have it purely be focused on Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. But it's not meant to be. After a year, he's already out of the team. And now that leaves the question of who we're going to have at tight end, because I do not want to see Julian Hill playing as tight end one coming into next season. I absolutely don't want it. And I was hoping at one point maybe we'd add to the trade by getting Pat Frymouth going the other way. But they're clearly going for win now mode. They've got Rodgers in. They've got DK Metcalf in now. Ramsey will be there, you've assumed, for 1 or 2 years. And Jonnu Smith is an extra option in the tight end room in Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh-wise, I think is short-term a great deal for them. But I think for the Dolphins, it leaves a lot to be desired as to what we do next. And I think I'll be interested in certainly keep my eye out in the next few days as to what we do with the tight end position. But let me know in the comments your thoughts on the trade and who you think are the winners and the losers and who you think the Dolphins should get to replace him at tight end.